Hello, this is Donald93. I will be doing a quick review of the Renault Otsu Tier 1 Japanese light tank. As being a Renault tank, it's have pretty much the same stats and equipment that you will find on the French and the Chinese Renault tanks. The place style of this tank, it's pretty much the exact same as the other two. You will have a 13mm autocannon, which is pretty much a over-glorified machine gun that you use at close-up and personal ranges. Remember to aim at weak spots and take your time aiming though. Try to make all your rounds count though. The there is a 37mm gun that is a good all-around gun from long to short range purposes. Let's dig into the stats. This Renault will have pretty much the same stats, but slightly modified stats from the other two Renault tanks. The max health is 110, the max load limit is 10.5, the maximum horsepower is 75, the top speed is 23. This is painfully slow. It could be worse, it could be better though, but it will get you from location A to location B, but in a very slow fashion. The traverse speed is 36. It could be better, it could be worse though. The hull armor is 30mm to the side, but if you angle it properly, you can reflect some rounds coming to you. The rear is 22. It is angled though, so you can technically ricochet some rounds though, but don't count on it. The front, this is where the armor is the best at. It is 30mm, but rather quite angled. I've gotten more than 30mm of armor though, but you have to angle it properly. Combined with the turret armor and the front armor, using the environment and terrain, you can ricochet a lot of rounds though. But you have to be careful when you angle the armor though. The turret armor is 20mm all around though. This is not good though. But it could be worse though. Before I continue on, all Japanese tanks have very good gun depression when it comes to side and front. Certain Japanese tanks, if you turn the turret backwards and aim down, you will have problem with the gun depression though. Besides that, they have very good gun elevation. Back to the turret traverse. You will have 24 for the turret traverse. This is just painfully slow, but it could be better, it could be worse. The view range. The top turret offers you 280 meters view range. You can increase this view range by using perks, modules, and anything else that you want to use. The signal range is 350. You can increase this with perks and anything else that you think that will work. The research part. The first thing that you should always research on all Japanese tanks and most tanks is to get the upgrade tracks to put all the equipment on. The upgrade tracks offer you 2 more tons in your load limit from 8.5 to 10.5. The traverse speed differs from 34 to 36 with the top pair of tracks. The upgraded engine, just get this because you want to have the best engine. It changes from 60 to 75 horsepower. The chances of getting set on fire with the default engine is 20%. With the top engine, it's 15. It is not going to be a major issue though if you be set on fire though, because at this tier, you're most likely going to be killed by enemy fire or by other series of unfortunate events. The radials. You might as well get the top one because it's offered the best tier 1 radial range in the game at 350 meters. The radials start off at the terrible stock 90 meters, increase up to 300 meters to 350. The turrets. The stock turret offers you 100 hit points with 250 view range, 18 millimeters front side, 16 rear. The top turret offers you 110 hit points, so 10 more increase in hit point, and 30 more view range. The two guns are going to be using the 13mm autocannon and the 37mm Sogi Kiho. I probably just butchered that name. I'm sorry if I did. The two things that you will research after this is the Tier 2 Genie medium tank and the Tier 2 Hago-like tank. The good thing about Japanese tank grinding is a lot of the tanks have the same equipment, so you don't need to grind as much equipment, and they're very little straightforward grinding that you have to do though. The guns. The autocannon, as I mentioned, it's a over-glorified machine gun that hold a lot of ammunition, have a very fast shell loading time, 0.13 for one shell to be fired. The loading time is 5.8. The average pen for the AP round for the autocannon is 23. With premium ammo, it is 36. You have 8 to 10 average damage. You have terrible accuracy, 5.56. Aiming time, 2 seconds. The 37mm is a good all-around gun for long range to short ranges. Just remember to aim at weak spots and take your time when you're aiming though. The premium and the AP have the same damage output still. The only difference between the premium and the regular AP round is the regular AP have 25 to 41 pen. The premium ammo have an increased pen from 36 to 61. The HE, it is good to use it at times with weakly armored tanks. You have 14 to 23 millimeters of pen, 41 to 69 damage per shot, and 0.31 meters blast radius. The thing is, I have this problem with other Renault tanks in the game. I have problems penetrating heavily armored tanks like the German PZ2, the American T18, the French H35 though, and any other heavily armored tanks in the game. You can use premium ammo though if you want to, but it's not highly recommended all the time though, unless if you're using the 37mm, but you would be wasting your credits though. How I got around this problem? I aimed at their weak spots, and I flanked them. I have two replays set up that to show you how to use the Renault Otsu properly. Let's get into a battle and show you how they're used. This little preview before the replays will be showing you how good the gun depression is and the elevation on this tank when you are using this tank or any other Japanese tank. Before I actually get to this spot, remember that if if you're using any Japanese tank aiming your gun backwards, you you will still have bad gun depression when aiming it down though. But when you're using angle terrain like this, especially when you're facing downwards, you will have even worse gun depression in the back though. But that can be a good thing for the fun as well if you know how to use it properly. Here I'm just quickly aiming the gun up. See how high I can actually aim. I can almost aim to directly in front of my tank. Now this is where the problem of the gun depression in the back comes. You will not have problems with gun evasion in the back though, just only with gun depression in the back when you're putting it down. Let's get to some real replays now. I have two set up. How to use the 37mm and the 13mm autocannon. This replay, I'm using the 37mm gun on the Renault Otsu. This replay, both teams were short, so we had 7 people on each side already. And already someone was doing friendly fire to one of their friendly tanks. I had some problems getting tier 1 replay material this week because at the time that I was playing, not a lot of people were playing tier 2 and 1 tanks though. Here I just stopped to inform my teammates not to waste their ammo. Looking back at it now and looking at their stats, I see they are new or very terrible players that they are still learning the game mechanics. So do give them at least some credit. They are still new. They are trying to learn how the game works, so do not give them any bad criticism. Here's where the action begins. The 37mm, as I said, it is a good long to short range gun. You just have to make your rounds hit their target all the time by aiming fully. If I remember this replay, I did rather quite good. I think I was the top person on the team that did the damage for obvious purposes, as you will see. At the short range here, less than 20 meters, with the medium one flat plate being shown to me, I could not miss it at all. If you're trying to use this gun more than 200 meters or more, you will have problems hitting your target at times though, but if you fully aim, then you have more than 50-50 chance of getting your shell to hit the target if the enemy tank is not using the terrain to their advantage. It always have to have a 100% crew when you are aiming your gun though. But then again, with a 50% crew, you can still hit your target most of the time, though. A 100% crew just make aiming at a tank much more easier. Also, using modules too help with that. I could have had angled my armor back there a little bit to uh, protect myself from the medium 1 gun, but knowing what gun the medium 1 was using on the hill there, I think was the top gun. I would have been I would not have been able to block that round coming at me at all. From the rest of this match, we recapped this out while the enemy medium 1 there died. I did roughly 476 damage. Got the most damage on the team though, no surprise there. Let's get to the next replay. This little replay before the actual 13mm replay will show you how to use the 13mm cannon properly when you're less than 100 meters away. How it is supposed to be used. Let's see how well I use the 13mm autocannon in this replay. How it is meant to be used at close up and personal ranges. From that little excursion or experience, you can see that I fully aimed at a weak spot at the enemy T1 there. That is how the 13mm autocannon is meant to be used at close-up ranges when you're under 100 meters. The next replay coming up, I will be using the same gun, but I will be doing way better, and I will not die. Let's get to that replay. This replay, I am using the 13mm autocannon. From the last preview, before this match, I showed you how to use the autocannon properly when you have the correct situation and environment. I got hit and died rather quickly there, but that was just an example to show you how to use the 13mm autocannon. Fortunately, I had a full team though. The enemy T1 on their side, Bufad. Just watch out for people like them trying to sell you gold though. It's always safer just to go to the Wargaming website and buy the gold that way. I made a semi-foolish mistake there and tried to aim at the T key at 250 meters away. As you see, most of my rounds missed. The autocannon is good at close quarter fighting, or even better, on a city map like this. Note, note to remember when using the autocannon. The gun is not good at 250 meters to 150 meters. You can still hit things, but you will waste a lot of ammo. You will also waste a lot of potential damage you can get. Fortunately, at this range, I fully aimed at 225 meters, 230, and I could get most of my shots off. But if I went closer, I could get all of my shots on them. Fortunately, there were two AFK players, or one of them were AFK, before that poor T1 died from my autocannon blast. I know that the Lloyd gun carriage, the Renault somewhere, and the Lloyd tractor must be in the area somewhere. Oh, they're the RD, the Renault right there. See right there? Uh, the Renault right there is using his angled armor plate to ricochet a lot of my rounds. This is the one problem with the autocannon. Any tank with sufficient armor can ricochet machine gun and autocannon fire, so if you're using the autocannon, try to aim at the turret. Most tanks have a weak turret which is not that well angled. Even if it's well angled, you can still pen it still, unlike the hull at times. There's that pesky little tractor there. I managed to get some rounds on him before. I almost did manage to get some fire on him though. Fortunately, my team was cleaning up the rest of the an opponent team rather quickly, and we won this match. Both of the replays I did rather quite good in, with the 37mm and the 13mm autocannon. Let's get to the summary of this tank now. And we won by capping. Let's do a quick summary now. This tank, it have a modest good amount of hit points. It is moderately fast for what speed it, it can do with the horsepower it is given. It gives two different play styles. The 13mm autocannon playstyle and the 37mm gun, adding the two replays that I showed you. This tank have rather good armor for a tier 1 though, but the unfortunate bad thing is the tier 1 and the tier 10, the STB1, these are the only two good Japanese tanks that have relatively good armor in the line. The rest of the tanks in the lineup have mediocre to bad armor though. Overall, I actually like the Renault Otsu Tier 1 like tank. This is definitely a keeper for me for a Tier 1 though. Some people may just skip past this tank. That is okay with them. But if you like a Tier 1 that have a relatively good gun selection with good armor, then this is a Tier 1 for you. I hope that this quick guide have helped you understand how the Renault Otsu work.